The Central Club.
Do you need a work uniform? Want to start a clothing brand? Or maybe you have a football kit that needs a logo printed? Well, if I was you, I'd get in touch with the Re-Inspire Printing Company down Treforest Industrial Estate for the finest printing and embroidery in Wales. I use them for my custom-made mankini, but you could use them for t-shirts, hats, hoodies, and many, many other things. Do you paint houses? Fancy yourself as a bit of a handyman? Well, if I was you, I'd get yourself down to S&M Building Supplies near Victoria Park, Cowbridge Road East. We use them to paint up the Central Club, and it's looking fresh. But you can use them for tools, decking, sand, cement, and many, many other things. What's going on, people? Welcome to the Central Club. This episode is brought to you by Re-Inspire Printing and S&M Decorators. Today we've got in my eyes the present and most certainly the future of Welsh rugby. He's a true professional in every sense of the word. He's born gifted with a natural talent. He spends his working days playing club rugby over the bridge, but for international duty and the odd holiday, he comes home to his hometown of Cardiff. Over the years, you've had some of the greats wearing the number 10 shirt, from John to Davis, Jenkins to Hook, and now we've got Mr. Callum Sheedy.
Thank you, Cole.
Welcome, man.
Like
Lovely.
that?
That was beautiful. Thank you.
Is that nice?
Sick. Good to be here.
That was a mad intro.
That was good, man. That was good.
It was all right. You could see I was reading it, though. You know, I should have learned it
I
after.
didn't know.
It sounded better.
I've been told I'm not allowed
gifted.
to look at you, so I was like, perfect. Lovely. Lovely.
Thanks for coming, Carl. Honestly,
No problem, Cole. Good to be here.
it's good to see you again after all these years.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
I know.
Yeah, no, good to be here.
How's life?
Good, good. Like you said, I'm over the bridge now, so lived over there for 7 years.
Wow.
What's Bristol like?
Oh, lush. Like I was saying earlier off air that, you know, when I was growing up in Cardiff, I'd never be able to imagine living away from Cardiff.
Mm-hmm.
And like now Bristol's like my home. So yeah, I got like my Bristol family and, you know, feel very much at home there. Just moved into a new house. So pretty settled over there. And
It's quite an
and
edgy
happy.
place as well, isn't it? It's like, it's different to Cardiff. What do you think? Have you been there before?
Yeah, I always class Bristol as the anarchist capital of the UK. There's always protests. There's
Yeah.
always like legal raves going on. There's all these dodgy shops. Even like the towns around it as well. Like you got Glastonbury not far away, Bath.
Extinction Rebellion as well, like just laying down on the road.
Are you caught up in any of them scenes, Carl?
No, I mean, like, I see what you mean. I see what you mean in terms of the quirky nature of Bristol. It's like you go up like Gloucester Road, for example, and you know, very quirky, very individualised sort of thing. And I guess that's what makes it what it is. Like it's a very unique, special city, and you know, each different part of Bristol has its own sort of USP, if you like. And yeah, I love it personally, and yeah, very homely for me.
Sick.
It's quite a big city actually as well, isn't it, when you
Massive.
think about it? Very old town as well. Like a lot of history, but like a port city as well,
Yeah.
like Cardiff.
Yeah.
When did you actually move? Was you living in Bristol when you first started professionally playing, or was you coming back over the bridge every day from Cardiff and then moved to Bristol?
So I went to school in Cardiff, St. Peter's Primary School and Corpus Christi High School. But the high school I was at didn't have a sixth form. And just fortunate, right place, right time. I was at the Sevens tournament with Corpus Christi in Monmouth. Played against a school called Millfield, which is a boarding school in Somerset. And we had a decent enough side and I must have went okay and seen their sort of director of rugby, and he was like, oh, would you be interested? And I was like, nah, like can't leave home, no chance. Anyway, played for Wales 16s, then a few weeks later, and the same guy was there, John Mallet, and had another chat. My parents were there, they were like, let's go and have a look. So I was like, all right, we're going to have a look. And as soon as I stepped foot in Millfield, the place just wowed me. Like I was like, well, I got a chance of coming here. Like didn't think anything of it. And then a couple of weeks later, we managed to sort out scholarship and stuff and spent 2 years there, signed for Bristol when I was 18, and then lived there ever since. So 7 years been there now.
Can you describe to people what Millfield is like as a school?
It's nuts. Like for me, I guess I was probably very out of place there because I'm just a normal kid from Cardiff who was wearing the same suit every day. Everyone had a different suit. They had their grey suit, their black suit, their blue suit, their Tuesday suit, their Wednesday suit, and I was putting on my same fucking...
Do you know what I've noticed as well about, like, obviously, because is that specifically for rugby?
The school isn't just rugby, it's very sporty and it has different aspects, but rugby was a huge...
I'm assuming it's like high grades, but if you're a quality rugby player, you're getting in it for the scholarship type of thing.
Do you know what I've noticed as well? They have mad initiation things, don't they, in rugby? It's like...
Yeah.
What sort of initiation did you have to go through?
For school, it wasn't too bad because...
Tom's initiation.
I mean, it's like it's a boarding school. It's it's like one of the biggest private schools in England. So if they had like a nuts initiation that sort of went viral, then it'd probably have a bit of a mark next to the name. So no, we were pretty low key in terms of initiations for school. I mean, I've had a couple of initiations in terms of having 2 litres of cider stuck to each hand on the back of a bus for dings and stuff, but listen, they're all good crack, and they kind of integrate you into the group nicely.
All right, let's take it back then. So you're from Cardiff. What part of Cardiff are you from?
Grew up in Splot, Lower Cardiff Bay, as I like to call it.
Bayside.
yeah. And then moved to Pontprenai when I was 13, closer to Corpus Christi. Corpus Christi was actually just at the bottom of my street, and yeah, parents still live there now, so still try and get back when I can. Splot when I was younger, Pontprenai when I was older, and yeah, family's still there.
I obviously, I kind of know your parents, your dad, Phil and stuff. I'm growing up with my brother and stuff. You've got Irish descent as well, then your father's the Irish side, is it?
Yeah.
So was you a Catholic, and is that why you went to Corpus Christi?
Yeah, Catholic, gone through all the sort of procedures when I was younger, got confirmed and everything. So yeah, I went to St. Peter's Catholic school when I was primary school, and then Corpus Christi's obviously a Catholic school, then high school. Like you said, my dad's side of the family is Irish, from Kildare, so yeah, very proud of that link, and he's a very patriotic Irishman himself. So I guess growing up, I had the best of both worlds in terms of he was very Irish. My mum is Welsh through and through. So
Splot girl?
No, she's actually from St. Mellons.
Oh,
I don't know what
enough.
that's not a Lower Cardiff. I don't know what Cardiff Bay that is. We'll think of another posh name.
Marshfield.
Marshfield.
We'll call that Marshfield.
Yeah, so mum St. Mellons. And then Splot growing up, so yeah, nice mix.
Nice.
When did your passion for rugby really start then? Like, is it something you feel like you've always wanted to do, or did you try it, and how did that come about? So
it was an accident, to be honest. I mean, like, right through my life when I was younger, football was always my favourite sport, and still to this day, like I was speaking to Cullen earlier, like I love football now. Like I'd sit there all day and watch football. Big Leeds fan.
Oh my God.
We'll speak about that later.
Don't worry.
We'll come back to that.
But yeah, I mean, I was playing football up until I was about 10 years old, and my dad used to be postman in Tremorfa, and he used to deliver to a guy called Eugene who was coaching St Albans.
That's mad. My old man was a postman too.
Was he?
Do you know what?
He probably knows him.
How long was your dad in the Royal Mail for?
God, he must have been 12 years maybe.
My dad was like 30 or 35 years.
Guarantee they
Do you know
each
what?
other.
It's mad, right? Weirdly enough, I have a feeling that my dad might know your dad. But
I thought you were going to say we were like stepbrothers then. I was going to say, what's my dad been doing?
Weirdly enough,
his name's
Big
Phil?
Yeah. That's my dad's name.
How's that?
we're brothers.
No, but that's what it's like, innit? It's like a brotherhood in the mail and all. Everyone knows everywhere.
Yeah, it's a laugh. And
but the thing was, my old man he's never drove in his life, right? He's never had a driving lesson. So my mum used to wake up at 4:30, drive him to the depot in wherever it was, near town, come back, get
Penarth Road,
yeah.
That's where my dad was working.
Yeah.
It's the only Royal Mail place, Tom.
No, there's one in Tapswell.
Yeah, so she'd drive my dad to 4:30 to the Penarth Road, and then come back, sort me and my sister out for school. She'd go work a full day.
Wow,
like,
just grafters.
Honestly, like, to be fair to them too, like,
that's nuts.
Spot on, like, yeah.
Yeah, like you said, football was your biggest thing. I know from personal reference and people like my brother who speak, you was an all-rounder. What made you choose football, choose rugby, not football? Because I'm pretty sure you could have went to some level with football.
I mean, going back to your question, Tom, like to merge them both together, I was like 10 years old, and my dad spoke to Eugene, who was the coach at St. Albans. And he said, "Oh, just come over and have a run round on a Sunday morning. Like, we're short and he might enjoy it." So I was like, "Oh, I'll give it a go." And picked up a rugby ball and realised I was not bad at it, and I enjoyed it. Still, like, football was on a Saturday morning, rugby was on a Sunday morning. But then as you get older, I guess, I kind of enjoyed being better at rugby, I guess. Like, you always enjoy stuff you're good at, and I was better at rugby than football. Yeah. There was more chance of taking that next step in rugby, because in football, you guys know when you're growing up, you have a couple of kids in your team they're the best, they're the next, Lionel Messi, and they never make it, they don't play. Whereas in rugby, there's obviously been more of a chance. So yeah, I guess I just kind of rolled the dice on rugby rather than football. Like, I even 14, 15, 16, I was playing for Fairwater with your dad coaching Cull, and it would always be like, I'd almost be looking forward more to playing on a Saturday morning for Fairwater than I would rugby on a Sunday, because football for me was just what I loved doing and what I loved watching and everything. So yeah, rugby probably because I was better, to answer your question bluntly.
Did you actually see yourself at that age as well, the potentials of becoming a professional rugby player?
To be honest, no, because like when you watch players on telly who are, you know, at the top of their game, even still now, like I'm my own biggest critic and I watch players and I think I'm miles off there. Like even when I was growing up, I thought I was a million miles off there, no chance. And then you kind of like, you know, you get picked to go to Millfield. You think, oh, I'm not too bad then. Then you get picked for the first team and you think, and then you get captain the first team and then you get picked to play for Wales in the 16s, Wales in the 20s. And then you're like, oh, okay, well maybe I am better than I. And then you just keep ticking along. You're ticking off little achievements. And those little achievements, you end up playing for Wales, your country, and then it's like it's all worth it.
Before Millfield, did you have a spout at Cardiff with the Blues and that, and then or?
Well, yeah, I was Cardiff schools. So the first age you can do Cardiff schools under 11s, and you Cardiff district school. So it's like from under 11s to under 16s, I was always part of the Cardiff schools, Cardiff Blues program, and at the age of 16, when I'd moved to boarding school, it just wasn't possible to board, come back. So I kind of cut ties with them.
It's a different way of life, isn't it, over England with the score systems and that. Don't really have it with any of the Welsh regions. Like it's behind times.
Yeah, like I mean, I know that the regions are getting links with schools now, which is great because, you know, the school system in England is like you say, they're just kind of, I reckon they're up there with the best in the world. Like, you know, you've got these public schools who are very rugby driven, but you've also got your colleges who are very rugby driven, and within these colleges, you've got like world-class coaching, and they put together a program for you when you're 16, 17, which is as close to professional rugby as you're going to get. So these 16, 17, 18-year-olds are really on a program which is demanding, but they're getting the rewards because they're improving. And then they get to 18 and they're kind of not shocked when they go into a professional environment because, you know, they've been training 3-4 times a week. They've been doing their gym work.
Conditioning them.
They've been living a lifestyle, really.
Yeah. Whereas some people who go to... there's nothing wrong with going to a school that doesn't prioritise rugby because education is massive as well, of course. But they then go to their school which doesn't prioritise rugby. They get chucked into a professional environment and it's like, shit. I've got to train.
It's like, you know, like you got the one up in Treforest, is it? Mechanic or something?
Yeah,
you look at that like then, so there's a uni there, but like I think like being away from like, maybe is it temptation as well? Like the fact that you get to stay on a campus and, you know, I just think it's totally different to be going away.
It's funny you say that because I was speaking to Harrison off air, and for me, when you're like 16, 17, 18, 19 to 20, you got a choice, haven't you? You got the straight and narrow, but on that straight and narrow, there's obviously branches, and you can dip your toe in a branch or you can fully go on a branch. And listen, I honestly reckon if I didn't go away to boarding school, I'd be hanging off one of those branches because...
You're a road man. Sheedy the road man.
On the strip.
But like in all seriousness, I would have definitely had a dabble in whatever was out there, and
it's kind of inescapable though as well.
Definitely.
You know what it's like, innit? Do you know what I mean? It's
especially in Cardiff, the bubble is so tight. You got to, like, or you won't survive. You've got to go and have a look at different things. And
do you see that, you know, when you come back now and you see people you grew up with playing rugby and stuff, do you look and you're like, you might ask about when, where are they? And you find out like, oh my God, he's fucking, really, like, I bet there's some shocking stories you hear about where some of your close friends growing up like are at this point.
Well, like even when I was away, like some things had happened with my friends, and, you know, whether it was drugs or getting into trouble. And growing up, you'd think like they were the most straight on bloke you've ever known, and then all of a sudden they're getting involved in this, and getting involved in that, and you just think like there could have been
how lucky am I?
How has that happened, and how fortunate am I to not sort of? So the boarding side of it, in terms of that, was brilliant, but also in terms of, I guess, turning you from like a boy to a man, because, you know, you're doing your own washing. I know stupid things. You're doing your own washing. You're making your own bed. You're not relying on like mum and dad to cook your food, and like little things like that where I couldn't get home from school and be like, Mum, where's my dinner? Or
hit you.
Chuck my socks by the washing machine and
she'll just do it. Flat was a shithole for a couple of
So when you move out on your own, it does hit you.
Of course
it hits you a lot.
Listen, it hit me when I was in prison and I was in a cell. I had to do my own bed. It's not even like I'm paying rent and all, like, you know what I mean? I get the food cooked for me on servery, but I still can look after myself.
Yeah, but it's true, innit? Like when you move out, it is like...
Yeah, no, of course it is.
So for me to have that at 16 was like a godsend.
Was your dad, like your mum and dad, were they very like, you go into this fucking school?
No.
Like, no?
The complete opposite, to be honest.
Really?
Because, like, you know my old man and my mum's the same, like, they're not pushy parents.
Yeah.
Like, if I enjoy something, they'll push me towards what I enjoy rather than, like, my dad would... If I rang him now and said, Dad, I've packed in rugby, he'd be like, no problem at all. Like, obviously he'd be gutted because he loves rugby and loves to watch it.
No, I don't believe that, Carl. I don't believe that.
He'd
be fuming.
Listen, deep down he'd be gutted, but he'd always say to me, like,
go with your heart, son.
If that's what you want, then we'll back you. And no doubt he'll say to my mum behind, like, what an idiot, like, you better... But they've always been so supportive, and I think that's key. Like, I think parents can get very pushy, and especially at a young age, kids could be told that they're the next this, the next that.
You see it.
And the parents are like, oh.
Soccer moms.
Yeah.
Were you quite academic? Like, was there other avenues you could have gone down? Or?
Did you see his face?
Well, no, I mean, like, listen, I wasn't... I'd like to think I wasn't a complete bubble. I wasn't the... I wasn't the
bubble.
I wasn't the brainiest kid in the world, but you know, I could write and read. And
Yeah.
Was it, you know, in like these unis then, like on the campus, I'm assuming, like, do you get that discrimination from people who were not in sports, people who were there for because it's a very good school, Millfield, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, is it people like, oh, there's the sports, but like, is it like that? Like they portray in films, like jockstrap and all that?
I mean, it was actually quite funny because, like, deep down, like, us rugby boys were kind of jealous of the real smart kids because we were like, they're not going to put their body through shit and they're still going to earn loads of money.
Yeah.
But the clever kids are probably like, oh, I'd love to be a rugby boy and like playing on the first team.
Of course.
So I guess it was that mutual respect. I mean, like, I wouldn't be going and sitting having lunch with the chess club, but at the same time...
Tom would! God, he loves... Sorry, Carl. He loves a bit of chess, yeah.
I might be able to put you in touch with a few of the chess... I'll give you a chess scholarship. But...
Oh, man. I think I need one after I got beat by Rob Earnshaw the other day.
Did you? Earnshaw battered him.
Oh, I got battered.
He tried coming brave.
I was giving it the large one as well for like 2 weeks.
He came up for part 2 Earnshaw with a little chess piece. His dice. He was ready, weren't he, Tom?
But,
oh God!
I mean, I guess it was that mutual respect between, you know, the rugby players and the clever kids and the footballers. Like, we all went to the same school and we all respected. Like, when the footballers had their cup final, we'd all be like the hooligans going to watch them and all that. Like, it was good. Like, it was good crack. It was best 2 years, to be honest. Best 2 years ever.
So, the route to professional rugby then was it literally on the cards from the moment you was in Millfield, or was it like? You were still... Who was you playing for? Was it Millfield School at the time, was it?
Yeah, so the way it worked was Millfield would have the rugby programme and you'd play Saturday, Wednesday, pretty much every week. And it was pretty relentless, but, like, loved it. There was no time... Like, some of the boys played for, like, Bath 18s. But I guess for me, it was, like, juggling too much. Not that they wanted me or anything, but I was just there to play for Millfield School. No academy had inquired about me. So then you start to think... Maybe I'm not going to become a professional rugby player, but that's fine because I'm loving playing here and I'm doing my best. And if it's not meant to be, then it's not meant to be. Obviously gutted. At
that time, was there anything like in your head that if I don't make it as a professional rugby player, what am I going to do when my score time runs out? Like,
I mean, that was the scary part, I guess. Like, I tried not to think about that because there wasn't a hell of a lot that I could have done. Like, I mean, being able to have on my CV that I went to Millfield might have been able to sneak me in to a job somewhere, but I didn't have I've got a lawyer something behind me, like which some rugby players do, which is great. So
you just kind of went all in, really. And that's probably, I always say, I said this to Callum as well, when you go all in, that's what kind of gives you that advantage over everybody else who doesn't. Yeah. So.
Like, don't get me wrong, like I wish I concentrated more in the classroom and I wish I had 3 A's to fall back on, because when I'm retiring, I'd love to have those degrees, but you don't think about that then, do you? Just think like, right, I got a year here to maximise.
Yeah, of course. But it's worrying, isn't it, though? Like, you know, there was obviously out of like the 15, you say a 15 man team you're with, probably 12 of them probably did not make it. So it's worrying what they're doing now when all they were focusing on was sports. Yeah. And you get that in life with any sport. American footballers, you see them fall off. NBA players, rugby players. It's worrying.
True. Scary. And I guess in without, speaking about me, I was fortunate that it was like January time where Bristol came in before exam season. So it was almost like that,
nice.
few sort of thing. Do you know? Because if you come to like March, April and you still haven't heard anything from any academy, then you're thinking, shit.
Yeah.
Probably got to look at a book. But
at the time, was Bristol, because they've, like we were saying, weren't we, about the resurgence they've had these last couple, going up divisions and stuff. Was you at the process of that, the beginning of that?
So when I signed 7 years ago, we were in the Championship, and we still had like a really good side for the Championship, but basically the top four going to a playoff. And playoffs work: first place four, second place third, then it's a final. The final was over 2 legs, and we'd always smash the league. We'd win the league by like 18 points. Like no one had touched us. We wouldn't lose a game all regular season. But then for 3 years straight, we'd lost the playoff final. And it's like, how? Like, how does that happen? Like, it's a mental block. Like,
don't you get a so you won't have like the winners automatic promotion?
Now it is.
Now it is, yeah. But at the time it weren't.
But at the time it was the playoffs, because Championship rugby was pretty low down. But that was what was getting their money, was the playoffs, because everyone had watched the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I remember, watching Bristol the year before I signed, and then with Bristol the first year, I wasn't nowhere near the squad, but going to watch them against Worcester, and we lost last kick of the game, and just thinking like, we're never going to get out of this league. And then the year after that, I was like, I must have been like fifth choice at the time. We had like Gavin Ensign in front of me, Adrian Jarvis, Matthew Morgan, Nicky Robinson. They all get injured.
A lot of Welsh boys then.
Loads. It was. We say it's like the fifth region. Like it's loads. Like it's brilliant.
Mad, isn't it?
Anyway, so there's like, I'm fifth choice. I'm going out on the piss on the Wednesday, on the Saturday, just living life like any 18-year-old would. All of a sudden,
were you getting a lot of attention? Like,
no one knew who I was. Like,
he's fucking fifth choice.
Yeah, I was a shit. No one knew who I was. Like it was.
But that's the best way. You're not getting the attention, the spotlight. I'm getting my paycheck. I'm going training.
Just doing your thing.
Yeah, but it's like.
Would you obviously, when you're out on the night out, you tell people, I play for this?
No way. I still to this day would not.
Nah,
say
I don't think that's your character.
No way. I'd do anything I could not to like people not to know. Like I just want to go out and have a quiet drink. I
bet him and Gavin Ensign, that could have rubbed off on you very easily.
To be fair to Gav, like I know he had like
he plays for Gloucester as well, anyway.
Bristol, weren't it?
Gavin Ensign played for Bristol, so he played for us for 2 years.
Okay. Right.
But he was the number one choice this time, right? And he got injured. Next, I got injured. Matthew Morgan gets injured. Nicky Robinson gets injured. All of a sudden, I'm the last one. They have no choice but to pick me.
That's mad, isn't it? 4 of them in front of them got injured.
It's like fate. And then
it's like it just opened up for you. Nice.
And this happened the week before the playoffs were about to start. So I can see the coach is like, shit.
We got to give it to him.
We got to give this clown a go. Like, and I'm thinking, give me a go. And then anyway, we ended up playing. Had a decent enough game. Picked again next week. Had a better game. Picked again. And it went like that. And I ended up getting man of the match in the playoff final at 19 when I'd only played 3 games before, and I just felt like it was fate. So I'm like flying now. I had the best summer ever. I'd gone to Berlin on a stag do. I thought, I'm a legend here. I'm 19. I've completed rugby. I've done it. Then all of a sudden you're on there, and then I ripped my hamstring off 8 months out, and I'm like that. Shit.
What was it like that first game when you stepped out onto the pitch as a professional player?
It's nuts. Like I guess it's like a dream come true, but at the same time, you're like, this is my chance. Like, I got to grab it. So it's like, like, I don't get nervous for rugby now because I've done it for years, but I was shitting myself. And you think, like, one side of your brain's telling you, don't mess up. But the other brain's telling you, like, go and smash it. Like, you've got it. Like,
you've done this 1,000 times before, but it don't matter, does it? That debut of professional rugby.
If you mess up, you're never going to play again.
Yeah. I can
so
imagine.
is that pressure is genuinely in your head? Like, if I don't perform, no, I'm not going to get picked again.
Yeah, but I'm fortunate that my brain works that the go get it overtook the don't shit yourself.
There's no consequence.
So
that's good.
Yeah, listen, it all went well those couple of weeks and kind of set me up, sort of put my name in the hat and gained a bit of trust from the coach. And it was sort of still to this day probably the best few weeks I've ever had in terms of just constantly just on the up. And it just felt like you're the kiddie, and it was brilliant.
Yeah. So going back to the injury then, you're 19 years of age. You're doing really well. What happened? Was it your arm? Was it your hand?
Hamstring.
Your hamstring.
Hamstring. So tore the hamstring, grade 3, which is the worst you can get. Like brutal. Like when it happened, I was only 19. I didn't even know muscle tear. I didn't know what it was. I just felt like a pop. Like you pop your mouth, like just popping a hammy. Wow. I thought, oh, that's weird. I could still walk it in. Just hobbled into the physio. I said, I think I've just I just hurt my hamstring a little bit.
Just pulled your hamstring,
Yeah.
mate.
Yeah, and he's like, all right, have a lie down. And he's like, yeah, I think this is gone. And I'm like, oh, how long's that then? A few weeks? Well, we get a scan. Anyway, scan comes back. He's like, yeah, 8 months. I was like, 8 months? What am I supposed to do for 8 months? So you can't do anything for 2 months. Then you've got to like learn how to basically stand and move again. And it's like
the difference in it between like me popping my hamstring. They'll tell me something, they'll tell me something, and then I'll just go along with it. And being a professional rugby player, like you have to do these procedures, or you're not playing again. Like
I think
won't be classed as fitness. Like
it was a kick up the arse for me as well, because I mean, I had another chance, didn't I? Like I was still in contract for another 2 years. So although I was missing 8 months, when I was back fit, I had a chance, and I could go and prove that I was good enough to play. And when I came back, like Bristol were bottom of the Premiership, we had our lowest ever points tally. The coach had no interest in playing me whatsoever. He basically said, "Go out to Jersey." And have you ever been to Jersey?
No, but I know it's just off the coast.
I'd advise getting out there. It's lush. Went out there for 3
Blue
months.
waters and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, gorgeous. But went out there for 3 months on loan. Just right, you're going to Jersey. I remember I was in Wagamama's in town. I'd come back seeing the boys. I was in Wagamama's in town. My agent rings me. He's like, Jersey want you on loan. You're flying tonight. I was there.
That's mad.
Okay. And then, packed everything up, got on a plane to Jersey. I was out there for 12 weeks.
Are they allowed to do that? They can just say, right, just
go.
Well,
I guess Bristol had kind of put me out there. I guess like football, like you're on the loan market.
And you can't really decide that as well, innit?
But it's like,
it is what it is.
Do you want to go and play, or do you want to just sit in the gym all day and not play? And I was like, no, I want to play. I want to prove myself. And then at the end of that season, Pat Lam had just been announced he was coming in, and I was out of contract. And I was like, well, this new coach ain't going to want me.
He's just bomb you out. Yeah,
he's never seen me play.
You need to do some sort of something to prove.
Yeah. So for me, playing week in, week out for Jersey was great, because it gave him something to look at. And although I was not
and you
great.
weren't there just sitting there doing football as well.
Yeah.
How did you play there then?
I done okay.
Okay, yeah.
We were lucky. I was fortunate that we were a decent side. We went on a 13-game winning streak.
So what division are they in?
The Championship.
Okay.
The one below the Prem. So we're playing a good enough standard.
Yeah.
But we had a decent side, and whenever you're winning, you fly off, which is the position I would play. Always looks okay. And when you're losing, they look crap. So we were winning, so I was looking all right. And then finally, like about 2 months before the end of the season, my agent rings and says, "Oh, listen, Bristol have offered you a 1-year contract extension." I was like, phew, at least I get to prove myself to the new boss. And then it took about a season for me to work with the boss, understand what he really wanted. And now to this day, like I got a unbelievable relationship with him. You know, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have never been anywhere near a cap. I would never have played 100 times for Bristol. And 4 years down the line, there we are. And
the year you were promoted to the first division, was you involved in that season?
That was the year of the playoffs when the injuries happened.
Was there like a negative thing during the injury as well? Like, were you
in my mind?
Yeah, like what mentally were you going through? Because you must have been thinking, well, I don't feel like I got anything else to fall back on.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, like I was speaking off air, and I was like, I don't think I wouldn't say I was depressed, because I didn't know what, now obviously mental health's brilliant and it's out there and people understand what it is. But this was like 6 years ago. I didn't know what mental health was. I didn't know if I was depressed. I was sad. And you'd go into work at 7 o'clock to train, and you wouldn't be able to do anything that the boys were doing. You'd be sat there in the physio room, no crack, no banter, do your gym, everyone's out training, having a laugh, and you're like, shh.
Yeah.
And then I'd go home and just repeat, and that was it. And I guess,
what was your mum and dad like?
They were class,
check on you?
Oh, brilliant. Like, and I was living in Bristol at the time, but I'd come home like pretty much every weekend, and I'd spend it with them. And St. Peter's, my local rugby club, I was like water boy for them, like for a few months.
That must have been nice for the boys as well.
It gave me something, a bit of a feel, like, because obviously, like at the time
as well.
Yeah, at the time, all my best mates were playing there, so like I was loving it. And yeah, my parents were brilliant then. Like, they kept me positive. You're gonna come back, you'll be fine. And my good days where rehab went well, and you say, oh, you're a week ahead of schedule, and you think, oh yes. You have your bad days where you can't do an exercise the physio wants you to do, and then you think, am I ever going to come back? And then it's tough, man. Like, I mean, I think because I had that high just before the injury probably made it harder. But then if I didn't have that high, would have I had the contract again? I don't know. So it's...
Yeah, no, it's understandable, isn't it? Yeah. So the call-up you had for Wales, it's no secret that you had pretty rich pickings of maybe 2 or 3 countries, home nations. Talk us through your decision for coming to Wales and for choosing Wales, And for the people who don't know, who else could you have played for?
Yeah. So my dad and my dad's side of the family are Irish, Kildare, very patriotic Irishmen. I lived in England for the residency rule was 3 or more years at the time. I've lived there 7, so I'm classed as English qualified, and obviously born and bred in Cardiff, so I'm Welsh. So I mean, over the years, like I got asked this question loads, and I'd always just fob it off. It's still to this day, I'm very proud of the Irish side, and growing up, my dad was always very patriotic Irish. I've had Irish passport, so it's not that now I play for Wales that Ireland can. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm still very proud of it. But when I had the conversation with Wayne Pivac when he rang me and said, "Would you be interested?" I knew that it was right, because when I was speaking to him, I was getting this butterflies and this feeling that this is it. Like I feel right. And then just going into camp, it just really cemented it for me, because just being around boys from Wales, we're all the same. We're all just normal blokes. Like they could all be in here now and we'd all just be normal blokes, having a laugh, taking the piss out of each other, just normal blokes. And
it's where you played your
your
grassroots rugby. You played on this soil.
Yeah. Yeah. It's where I know, I've never played rugby in Ireland. I've never, England, obviously there's no blood there.
Did you ever consider England?
I mean, I played for England against barbarians. I had to ask. I played in an England select game against barbarians, which was a great experience, and I wouldn't change it for the world, because it gave me that sniff of international rugby, which is what I wanted. But I mean, playing for a country on residence for me didn't have the same feeling as playing for my blood country. And as amazing as the week was with England, and as grateful as I am to get the opportunity, it wasn't the feeling in my heart and my stomach that I got when I sing the Welsh national anthem to when the English anthem was sang. So
that's interesting.
So going up to the call up, before we do talk about how you got called up, why do you think Warren Gatland never bothered?
I mean, the beauty or the good or the bad, I don't know if it's good or bad, about rugby is that, your fate is decided by one person's opinion. So, do you know what I mean? You could watch me play and think, "Sheed, you were class today," but
someone else,
the coach watches it and thinks he was shit today. And I get dropped and you think, he was class, he scored 5 tries, but the coach think, well, no, he didn't do this, he didn't do that.
No matter what.
So it's it's always a tough one. I mean, at the time, Gatland had Anscombe and Bigger, who were smashing it. They were winning Six Nations, they were winning Grand Slams, Triple Crowns. So why would you look at this kid who's playing over in England? And I completely understand that, I wasn't what he was looking for at the time, which is no problem. I would never have hard feelings about that. It's fine, but very grateful to Wayne Pivac for kind of taking a chance on me as it was.
Do you think that's because of the style of rugby he was playing at Llanelli, that he chose you? How well you're doing at Bristol and stuff?
I think it definitely kind of adds to it, because, the Scarlets at the top, when Wayne was in charge, were playing expansive rugby. Yeah. They won the Pro 14 playing very similar to what Bristol play, actually. And I mean, Wayne Pivac and Pat Lamb, a coach of Bristol and coach of Wales, see the game very similarly, actually.
You look at them both and you can see...
Yeah, you can see that the bigger picture, they're looking to do the same thing. Obviously, international rugby, there's different ways. You can't play like club rugby, the international rugby, because you get killed.
Explain that to people.
Yeah. So it's at club rugby, you kind of... You could get away with running the ball at your 22 and kind of making yards, but then because it's risky, but you can kind of get away with it. If you give away a penalty, or you might concede 3 points, but you're confident you're going to get another 7. Whereas in international, defences are so watertight.
It is, isn't it? It's next level.
In international rugby, 3 points is 7 points in club rugby. You've got to work your bollocks off to get 3 points in international rugby.
Yeah.
I'm not saying club rugby is easy, but there's just no weakness in any team.
You got the best of the best, haven't you?
It is literally the pinnacle. So if you run it out to your own line in international rugby and get caught, concede 3 points, it is huge. I done against Argentina, where I had a bit of a brainwave and done a quick 22 dropout. We get turned over, conceded 3 points, and it was huge. If I'd done that for Bristol, I'd get a slap on the wrist and it'd be you shouldn't have done that. Whereas for Wales, you almost feel like...
And you've got the country looking at you. And
you've just let a million people down.
3 million mad
You're literally representing your
Sheedy,
whole country.
Sheedy shit. But,
it rings a bell, that. I'm joking. No, but I can imagine the difference, innit?
Yeah,
when you've just got one city, one club, you play, this is just the pressure I'm talking about. If you play for Bristol, you've probably just got Bristol who hate you. You fuck up in the Six Nations. You've got a country who's going to fucking have you.
You were saying that you got the call to what was that feeling like when you got that call and like, you know, what was the first reaction?
It's nuts. Like,
Were you just gassed?
I thought it was a prank at first. Genuine. Like,
One of the Bristol boys. Or
I just thought like it's some idiot pretending to be Wayne, like because he's got a New Zealand accent, and
Where's Wayne?
yeah, I didn't know what his accent like sounded like on a phone, and at first I was like, yeah, because he texted me because I missed his call, and he texted and said, "Oh, it's Wayne. Can you give me a call or something?" I thought, yeah, right, yeah. So I waited for him to call again. I was like, yeah, and then he started speaking. I was like, this is actually him, mate. I was like, fuck. This is him. So I was like sitting on the sofa, like shit, and I just couldn't speak.
At home in Bristol?
Flat, yeah, I was in my flat, yeah. And he's like, is this something that would interest you? And I'm like, yeah. Like, I just thought it went full like couldn't speak mode.
Yeah.
And then I just FaceTimed my mum and dad. And
yeah, I was going to say, were they the first you called?
Yeah, FaceTimed them straight away because it was like.
What was Big Phil
What
like?
made you feel
COVID,
like it was official though? Was it like, okay, you just like started?
Well, even then, like you don't.
Did you have to ring him back again to double check?
No,
just check this is Wayne. But no, like I FaceTimed my mum and dad, but the squad one being announced on the Monday, he rang me on the Friday to say like.
Checking on the Monday just in case.
He didn't say like you're going to be in the squad. He was just like, "Are you interested?" And he kind of left it like, "Oh, we'll see Monday," like wink, wink. But it was like, I was like, "Oh, am I going to be in there?" Not like I was thinking. So I rang my mum and dad. I was like, "Oh, listen, Wayne's been on phone or whatever." They were both just looking at me like my mum's crying her eyes out. My dad, I can see his eyes are like.
That
and
is
then I'm
mental.
like, and we were all just crying at each other, and it's brilliant.
On FaceTime, just crying at each other.
And then the squad gets announced at 11 a.m. Monday, and I'm still thinking, I convinced myself, oh, nah, you're not getting in. He's just ringing to see if you're keen. You're not getting in. And then the squad got announced on Twitter, and I was in there, and I was just like buzzing. I was just like,
Mum, Dad, check your phones. Make sure it's me.
Yeah.
Make sure that's my name on it.
yeah. So yeah, and then obviously that happened, and it kind of then sinks in. You actually go into Wales camp, and yeah.
So your debut was against the country.
Yes. Ireland away.
First of all, before that, what was the camp like?
So the basically when you play in England, you only get released on a certain date to come back to Wales. So for example, Wales are playing New Zealand. I can't play in it because I'm based in England and it's outside the test window. So I join up with the squad now on the 1st of November because that's when the test window starts.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a bit nuts.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah. But
why are they doing that for? Do you think it's to try and get more people playing back at home, is it, or what?
It's no, because it's not just Wales, it's everywhere.
Oh.
So it's just listen, this is the calendar and this is the weeks which World Rugby has set up for international window.
Is that nothing to do with COVID either then? Or
No, it's just the way it is, and
it's always been that way.
Yeah, and cool. It's just unfortunate that a game is usually it's just a training week, but this year a game's fallen on that week, which is it's obviously annoying, but because basically the reason is if you start putting all your international games, then your club rugby dies. Then you still need a club rugby. So anyway, so I turned up 2 weeks late for camp because I had to play my club rugby. We actually had our European final on the Friday night. We won the European Cup with Bristol on the Friday night, and then I was in camp on the Monday.
I watched that.
Yeah, which was still one of the best nights of my life. That was amazing.
Mental.
And then went into camp, kind of seen like, you know, Alan Wynne-Jones, George North, Jonathan Davis, Liam Williams, Gareth Davis, and you're just like...
What was it like meeting these people? Like,
well, you've just won the European, so you must have had a chip on your shoulder at the time, surely. It must have been like that, like, I got to pay respect, I'm here for the first time.
I'm
the kiddie right now.
Genuinely, I got a weird mind. I just convinced myself that I'm just not...
No, fair play.
Don't get me wrong, like when I'm on the pitch, I back myself 100%.
But
when I'm off, I'm like...
Pitch,
because I remember the first thing, I went on the computers and was trying to like look at their game plan and all that. And the boys had a day off in camp and they were all like having coffees and, you know, playing cards. So I just went on the computers sort of, and Lee Halfpenny came up to me. And this is Lee Halfpenny, mind who I like idolised for years. And I'm just like, and he was the nicest bloke. And he's like, oh, like you were kicking unbelievable on Friday. And I was thinking like...
Coming from him, like...
Lee Halfpenny watched me on Friday. I was thinking... And he was just the nicest bloke. And as soon as he spoke to me, I just felt real calm and...
Fair play.
And yeah, all the boys were brilliant. Like Dan Bigger, unbelievable with me. Like you see him on the pitch, he's an absolute winner and, you know, one of the most competitive blokes. But off the pitch, he's, you know, so good. And having someone in your position that's real sound with you, especially someone that's older, just really helps you and kind of calms you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, listen, the boys are the top class there and they really helped me out at the start of that sort of autumn tour. And
out of the Welsh team, who would you say has inspired you the most?
I mean...
And why?
The current Welsh?
Yeah.
I love... Like, obviously, he's my position, but over the years, I loved seeing, like, the stick and the bad things people would say about Bigger and how he'd come out and prove I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Because I don't know why people... no one will speak bad of him now because he's proved that he's world class. But back in the day, like when I was younger, and people would say bad
I think
things.
it was the way he used to shrug his shoulders.
Like whatever it was, like because he's just a good bloke. He don't have social media and everything. He's just focused on.
Is that he comes? I see him on the coffee shop a couple of times.
He just focused on what he needs to
hi.
do, and I think journalists he's just an easy tag because he don't have social media. We can just say shit about him.
He's not going to say nothing back.
He can't tweet back.
Yeah, so the thing is, he couldn't give a shit, and that's what I love. Like, I couldn't care what Joe Bloggs thinks about me as long as my teammates respect me and my coach respects me. Then
of course.
Rate that. And I really look up to someone like that.
Does he really train hard as well?
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
He's one of the hardest working in the squad, not just on his kicking, but his high balls, his skills, and like he's someone who I love training with and competing with because it kind of brings that extra out in you as well. So he's top.
That's class.
Mad.
What about Alan Wynne-Jones? What's he like?
He's a real competitor, Al. So like I was saying earlier, like if you were just having a race to the toilet or a race down the stairs, he'd win it. He'd want to win it. Like, and if you beat him, he's giving you a death stare. Like he's an unbelievable leader, and to play for your country coming up to 150 times is just nuts. And
do you ever get any banter with them? Like, do they ever?
Yeah, we have a good bit of crack. Like
Initiation.
I said, they're generally just normal guys, and like obviously I've watched them on telly, and you think like that they're going to be this sort of, they're going to have this persona, and they think that, but they don't think that they're anything, and they're real sound. And
yeah, nice.
Like I remember the first time we were doing recovery, like we were in an ice bath, and Alan Wynne comes and sits next to me in the ice bath, and I'm thinking, just me and him. It's just me and him, and I'm thinking, oh my God, Alan Wynne-Jones is that, what am I going to say to him? We just had a chat. I reckon we were in about 45 minutes just talking shit, just about life. Like we didn't even speak about rugby. And it's just like, it's just having a normal conversation.
That's what people think, don't they? They think that like, if you're all together in a camp and everyone's talking about rugby.
Honestly, I don't think we speak about rugby. When we're off, we are literally just taking the piss out of each other, like having a game of pool, table tennis, darts, cards, watching something on telly. Like we don't even, until we like, obviously there's rugby chat about like if you've got something to speak about, but because of COVID now, we're spending pretty much 24/7 in hotels. So you're literally on top of each other, which could be tough. But like we just have a chat, have a crack. Like there's no, it's just chilled. Like it's nice.
Nice.
It's good.
So going back then to your debut, Dublin, it was in Dublin, yeah. How was that feeling?
Again, unbelievable, but strange because there was no crowd there, no family there. So, I mean, like I remember driving so when you go on an international game, you got a police escort into the ground. And we were driving through Dublin at night, and there was like these sirens going, and there was a few fans on the side. And I'm just like sat on the bus, just like, I can't believe what's happening. Went out for the anthems, and like it's strange because I've been to Wales games, and the anthem is huge, and the fans are going nuts. But you just hear the guy next to you like singing. It's bizarre, but I mean, like
I've seen some of the anthems. Who's the one who goes mad? Is it Owens? Kevin Owens?
Ken Owens.
Ken Owens, sorry.
Yeah. He loves
Kevin Owens. That's a wrestler. Ken Owens, sorry, yeah. Oh,
he loves it. Yeah,
he seems a passionate.
Yeah, it's great. But I mean, like then, like after the game, you get presented your cap, and your parents are on Zoom when you're getting your cap presented.
Oh, it's amazing.
And you've got to sing a song and all that sort of stuff. And Johnny Sexton, who's the island captain, plays fly half as well, comes into the change room. I'm like, oh. And he's like, where's Callum? And I'm thinking, what? I was like, oh here, like, like sheepish. And he gives me his jersey. He's like, you keep that, congrats on the debut. So now at home, I've got his shirt, my debut shirt, framed next to each other with my cap. Just top,
sick.
like.
Well, yeah, they obviously know you could have played for Ireland.
I don't even know. I just think he's just a genuinely just nice guy who just thought, there's another guy in my position who's made his debut. This shirt will mean a lot more to him than it would to me. And like,
fair play to him.
Just good guy.
That's
like
amazing.
it was.
Did you growing up? Did you like look up to the likes of like Driscoll and that as well?
Yeah,
did you have greats?
Yeah. I mean, like O'Driscoll. Like I always wanted to be like Brian O'Driscoll. Like he was obviously growing up, he was the kiddie, wasn't he? And
O'Gara,
O'Driscoll, like that era was they were class. And my dad loved O'Driscoll. Like he'd always, whether I liked it or not, I was having posters of O'Driscoll in my room. Like my dad would be putting it up. So yeah, it was just to be in the sort of Aviva Stadium in Dublin, and I wish my parents could be there, but they obviously weren't. And yeah, very special night, very special.
What was it like? Sort of like, did you feel sort of like that sort of fame? Did you feel how did that affect you?
Nah, like especially with no crowd, you don't feel like you don't feel fame. Like I don't feel fame. I don't feel famous. It's not.
Yeah.
I don't see it like that. It's just, especially with no crowd, you're just going to play a game of rugby, and there's probably more people going to watch Fairwater on the weekend than that game there, because it was about 30 people, wasn't there? Like literally, it was like 30 people, the subs and the physios and a bit of media.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in terms of that, it was quite strange. You almost feel more pressure because people are watching at home, but there's kind of the crowd can sometimes drown it out. If you make a mistake, the crowd can kind of. But here, you're on your own.
Look at like a Wales, like the Wales team now. Like apart from like we were talking about like Gavin Enton, there's no one really in that squad that really like
celebrity
think
sort
they're
of thing.
celebrities.
Is it?
They're a very grounded team.
Yeah, no, you're bang on. I'm trying to think now, and there's not. Like, I think, Reece Zammit will be as close to. Because he's 19, good looking, played for the Lions. He's completed life already, haven't he? So I'm not jealous of him at all.
We'll talk about that now then. So obviously, the Six Nations, the one past gone, done really well in that.
Yeah.
British Lions, did you feel like you should have had a call up?
No. I would have been the fair way off that, I think, in terms of just consistency of...
But do you think that's because Gatland as well again?
No. I mean, like, if you're going to be picked for the Lions, then you've got to be number one for your country. And listen, Biggar was number one for Wales, and rightly so, because he had a great Six Nations, and I was never expecting to be anywhere near that, and I was okay with that. It was fine. But no, like, just going back to your Six Nations thing, that was kind of like it was unbelievable we won it, but probably one of the hardest nights of my life was out in France when we were 30 seconds away from that Grand Slam. You can win the Six Nations, that's amazing.
It was a
winning
mad
that
game, wasn't it?
It was nuts. And 30 seconds away from... Like,
you were so close to getting it. That's the most frustrating thing.
I can't put into words when you look at the clock, there's 5 minutes to go when you're 12 points up or 10 points up. You can't lose that game. There's no way you can lose that game. Like, no way. And it happened. And yeah, I mean...
Fair play to the French.
Like when they go jouer and play, they're tough.
How did the whole team take that as well afterwards?
Tough,
what were they feeling like?
I was fortunate that I hate getting drug tested because it's just a hassle. It takes like half an hour. But as soon as I come off the pitch, it was this French guy like, drug test. And I was like,
Why?
It's random. You just get, after a game,
right.
they're just...
weird that they do it after as well, isn't it?
Must have been looking decent.
So I'm guessing they took you away from the changing room.
Yes, you've got to go in your own room for half an hour.
I bet you felt like, I just can't even be asked talking to you. Like.
No, but the best thing, obviously, tensions must have been heightened.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Like, Alan Winnan, I must have been kicking off in the changing rooms.
It was kind of like a blessing, because even when I come back in the changing room half an hour later and, you just see like world-class talent like Alan Wynne, Ken Owens, Tipuric, and their eyes are welling up and you know how much it means to them.
Yeah.
Oh, it's killer. Absolute killer,
That's mad, isn't it?
It's tough.
It means a lot to them, everyone there.
But I think it was the way it happened was the killer, but we were obviously lucky that the week after the Scots helped us out and we managed to win it, the tournament, so,
Yeah, that was special. Though,
Yeah,
but I remember watching that game in the rugby club and I just couldn't believe it. It was a freak show.
For days, like maybe weeks, it just felt like a dream. Like, it just felt like I'm going to wake up and, very funny. Like, it's like one of those weird, when I retire, I'll look back at a few games, like our semi-final for Bristol this year when we were 25 points up and ended up losing it. Like, things like that.
That's the way you hit the post twice, is it?
That probably was it, that would have been, So like things like that where...
That was a mad game.
You just think like, someone's looking down on us and someone doesn't want us to win this. But listen, rugby's a game, highs and lows, and it's a roller coaster. Yeah. I've won enough games where we shouldn't have won and I've lost enough where we should have won. So
it's one of those things.
It all balances out in the end.
You've got plenty left in the tank.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway,
and when you lose those games, it kind of gives you a drive never to let that happen again. So as if you needed that little 1% extra. When we're winning 12 points with 4 minutes to go next time, I'm going to always think, right, we are closing up shop. We are not losing this game, and just kind of gives you a little rocket. So
obviously, I seen an interview the other day, and he was talking about like the result didn't go your way with Bristol, and he was talking about the fans. They can turn on you as quick as they support you.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've got a good setup there with Bristol. You're very happy where you are. You've just got your house and stuff. Would you like to see in the future that you probably play for one of the home regions, or?
Yeah, I mean, I'd never say never, and obviously with the ruling as it is now that you've got to play in Wales to play for Wales, then it's obviously
it's going to go that way.
It's a good possibility that something could happen, and obviously that's looking quite a way down the line. I mean, I still got a few years left at Bristol in my contract, so if I don't perform for Bristol, then I won't get a regional contract. So for me, it's all about just building blocks. Like, I'm sure that conversation will happen in a couple of years or whatever, but for now, if I kind of get distracted with that, the way my brain works, I'll take my eye off the ball here. I'll all of a sudden lose my tennis spot to Bristol, and then it's a downward spiral sort of thing.
Do you ever feel like you get complacent ever? Like, is there anything you've ever done you feel like you get a bit of complacency for a couple of weeks after? Or
I'd like to think not. Maybe like subconsciously it's happened, and maybe I haven't had my best game after a high. I don't know, but I mean, like, I'd like to think mentally that I'd stay grounded in terms of when things are good, I like to keep calm, and when things are bad, I also try not to beat myself up too much. I struggle with that, to be honest, more because I struggle, like, we've lost 5 out of our first 6 games this year, and I'll blame myself for every one of them, even though it's not all me. I will convince myself that if you'd done this, we would have won, and it's probably unhealthy, really, but it's just the way my brain works. And when I watch myself back, I could have got man of the match. So I got man of the match against Gloucester last year, but all I seen was a missed kick and a missed tackle. That's all I could watch. I couldn't watch a try assist. I could just watch.
It's the same. Sometimes it's the same in like here now. Like we'll get like someone like we'll probably have like 100 likes and all a load of good comments. You get one bad, and you just
and you think
dwell on that one.
Why do we like it? What do I do? What?
Can't please everyone.
100%.
Yeah. Can't please everyone.
But,
no, that's it.
Like going back to your point, Col, like the beauty about sport, I guess, like I said, with opinions, and I'm the same when I watch Leeds. Like the amount of times I slagged off Patrick Bamford, and now I love him because it's just like, do you know what I mean? Like I used to say to my dad, he can never play for Leeds again. He's rubbish, and now I'm like, we're rubbish without Patrick Bamford. So it's like, it's the same with rugby. So that's why I try not to get too carried away with it, because it's tough when you're getting tweeted saying you're crap, and it is tough because you read it because they're tweeting you. But
how do you respond to it? Do you sort of like just ignore it, or do you ever?
I've actually deleted my Twitter now just because I'm trying to
really
not because I'm getting
deactivated or deleted it. Just
I don't know what's the I don't know. It's gone.
Deactivated is when you just sort
go
of like,
back on it.
You can
I don't
want to
go back on it. I don't want it ever again.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like it.
Did you get too much like stick?
Not that I was getting a lot of stick. I mean, I've had stick every game I've played because you're never going to please everyone. There's always one guy who thinks you're crap, which is fine.
Yeah.
But I just didn't like scrolling through, and especially when things aren't going great. And not just me, I was getting more offended when they were slagging the team off, because I see how hard we work, and we're not going out there to lose games. It's just things aren't going our way, and we're conceding penalties and we shouldn't.
I can see you're very passionate about it, to be honest, actually. I've seen it on a few, like that interview I've seen, and you always talk about like the togetherness of your team and don't let outside things affect you.
Because
I was going to say as well, sorry, I know this is like slightly off rugby, but are you a Cardiff City fan?
Leeds.
Oh, right.
He's at Leeds.
Well, no, obviously.
No, but I'm a Liverpool fan and a Cardiff.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You must like, do you follow Cardiff at all?
Listen, Mick McCarthy just
How many Cardiff fans are listening here? What? Do you have a lot of Cardiff City fans listening?
We have a couple.
We do.
I love Cardiff, great. I like Cardiff more than Leeds.
Well, the reason why I asked that is because obviously, you know, with what's been going on there with Mick McCarthy and stuff like that, do you have any sort of sympathy when like teams like that are just completely just messing up and stuff? Like,
I see what you're saying.
As a sportsman, do you see that and think, actually, you've got to actually see it from their perspective? There's probably something else going on that you don't know.
Yeah, like, listen, it's tough. With Cardiff, obviously, I don't know how they're playing. I don't know. I obviously see the results and I see the highlights and I see everyone slagging off Mick McCarthy.
Pretty much almost bottom of the league, but
yeah, well, that's what it is. I think if you play ugly rugby as well, but if you play ugly football, you'd expect it to win.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
and you don't play ugly, like boring football to lose.
Yeah.
You got to get something out of the game for your fans.
Yeah, it's like when you're losing, you will always look at the top. You will always look at the manager. You will always look at the captain. You will always look at the best players. When you're winning, you look. Coaches, Liverpool, Jurgen Klopp, brilliant. Chelsea, Tuchel, whatever his name is, brilliant. Do you know what I mean? So when United start losing, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he's got to go. It's always the top that gets it. So
Pogba.
Well, really, it could be somebody in the team who's just like.
But that's what I mean. It could be. I don't know. Obviously, without naming names.
Just hate them all.
Hey, you could watch this. You don't know.
I hate them all. I don't care.
I hate United.
Come on, the Reds.
I hate United.
But come on, the pool.
But yeah, like in all seriousness, I mean, like in any sport, rugby, football, when you're struggling, your coach will always get in rugby. Your coach, you fly off because we'll arrange the game. And then that's what's tough because I see how hard we work. And when I'm seeing on Twitter that Bristol Bears showing no guts, showing none of this, but it's not our fans, it's outside. Our fans are brilliant. Like,
have you had anyone like maybe like a teammate or a family member say, "Callum, pipe down, don't bite," because you seem like you do get what? Because it's the frustration. I get it. Like he says it to me sometimes. Someone might say to me like, Just ignore it.
Someone, to be fair, some people have said some horrendous things, though, haven't they? About like,
but
like
when I was on Wales Online as well, fucking hell, some of the baddest
someone said something
things.
to you the other day, and I tried to like find out where he lives.
It's true.
I was like, we need to message this kid.
It's
I
true.
wanted to know where he went to school or something like that.
Yeah, it's terrible. Like.
But it's like it's just that natural instinct, isn't it? You get defensive. Like I would never ever tweet someone. If someone tweeted me telling me I was shit, that's fine. Like I would never ever bite at that. If someone in the street told me I was crap, I would never bite at that. But like to like the boys and to you guys and to my family, I would vent it and I would open up.
Yeah,
I don't need to tell. If you said to me you were crap, I wouldn't be like, no, it wasn't. I done this. I'd say no problem. Yeah, I'll try and be better.
Yeah.
That's fine because you've got to keep.
You can't take it on the chin, like.
Yeah, but like I wouldn't care. I wouldn't. You told me I was crap. I'd say yeah, no problem. I wouldn't care. Think what you want. Do you know what I mean? That's my. The fan could think what they want. Obviously,
almost like ask him, like, okay, so where do you think I could improve then?
I wouldn't.
Would you? You wouldn't ask
care.
that? No,
I would not care. Honestly, like.
Yeah.
Because I do, if this guy says, oh, well, you need to improve this, but Pat Lam thinks I'm fine at that. He's not picking the team. Pat Lam's picking the team.
Yeah,
so
true.
It's,
Yeah.
Listen, I'd love every fan to like me, and of course.
So
would,
basically, it's just what Pat Lam says goes.
Your teammates as well. You want to respect your teammates, don't you? And your teammates respect you. Your coaches respect you. Your family respect you. You're
It
doing
builds
all
the
right.
chemistry as well.
Not just that, it's been you.
And you come to yourself.
You know yourself.
Yeah.
You've made the right decisions
Yeah.
all the way through, and you're here now. So
Yeah. It's a self-awareness as well. Like, listen, like you know when you've done a good show. You know when you've done a show you could have improved on. You know when you've had a good game. You know when you've had a game you could have. It's like we know ourselves. It's just that self-awareness.
So you're a Leeds fan then? So do you ever go to Swellham Road then or what?
When I can, I mean, obviously it's quite a way away, isn't it? But what I was doing pre-COVID was anywhere within like a 2.5 hour radius. So like Reading, Swansea, Cardiff, Bristol, Luton, QPR, anywhere this.
You just sit,
Birmingham, Villa.
When they played Cardiff, did you sit in the home end or the away end?
I sit in the Cardiff end with my scarf. So if any, I'm never coming again because I'm going to get filled in. And but whenever Leeds score, me and my dad would be nudging each other like. Yes.
Your dad's a Leeds fan, isn't it? Is that where you got it?
Yeah, massive.
That's what happens in most families, isn't it?
Yeah,
you know?
we went to Villa Leeds Boxing Day just before COVID, and Leeds were 2-0 down. They got back to 2-2, and I was like, right, Dad, let's beat the crowd. It was a sellout, class atmosphere. I was like, let's beat the crowd. Let's go and have a few beers. Oh yeah, come on in. Literally, as we were walking down the stairs, we heard like this little group of fans going nuts. We're like, oh, some must be like a red card or something. We checked our phone. We just missed Kemar Roos scoring 96th minute winner.
Oh my God.
I was there.
Oh my God.
Do you know what? They got a good team now, haven't they?
Yeah.
Last season they done well as well.
Brilliant. Struggling a bit this year, but Phillips will come back in. Bamford will come back. We'll be all right. We'll be all right.
My grandpa's a Leeds fan.
Yeah?
I think back in the Tino.
Back in the day, obviously, they were the boys, weren't
sick, yeah.
Everyone hates Leeds, though.
No, everyone loves. They say they hate Leeds. They don't really.
How did you feel as a kid when we, because I went to that game, the Cardiff City.
I was there.
What a great team. I got to say, that Leeds team was fucking something else.
That was one of the scariest nights of my life.
Is that O'Leary, weren't it? That was?
Walking past walking out in Indian Park one day.
Do you mean the scariest? Well, you was in the Leeds end, was you?
No, I was in the Cardiff end. But I had my Leeds top on and I had my jacket over my Leeds top. And me and my dad were there. We obviously thought we were just going to go and win 4-0 or something and like happy days, brilliant, And we were stood there and obviously one going great for us. And I remember my old man saying like, we got to go, like this is getting a bit rough, we got to go. And we were just walking out and there was just police on horses everywhere. And I was tiny and I was just thinking like, Daddy, is it always like this? It was like one of my first ever football games. Yeah. It scarred me. Like I was like,
yeah, it was, man. I was young.
The
as well.
atmosphere was nuts.
Yeah, it was.
Was this Sam Haman going around the? Yeah.
Someone threw a fucking shoe. Someone threw a shoe at him, didn't they? Yeah,
that was me.
Yeah, man. And I was saying it to someone. I was saying to Earnshaw the other day. Gary Fisher, I think his name is, from Lamremy. He done a streak on the pitch as well. To Nigel Martin. Nigel Martin in goals and that.
We had a good team. No, Leeds did then. They were the kiddies, weren't they?
Ferdinand, Woodgate, Bowyer, Fowler.
I'd always rush home from school to watch us in the UEFA Cup. Yeah, Kewell,
Danny Mills.
Yeah, the boys, weren't they?
Yeah, they were the teammates.
Yeah, but that's when I.
Where's O'Leary these days? Like, you just don't even see him anywhere. Like.
I reckon he's coaching out in China or something, getting an absolute packet. I reckon
he's over Ireland, fucking coaching a hurling team.
Yeah,
he's coaching a hurling team in Ireland.
I don't know what he's doing. Yeah.
Yeah, but who do you think's going to win the Premiership this year?
Well, I know you're a big Liverpool fan, so Man City. No, I mean,
Liverpool are looking strong, isn't he?
I love watching all those teams. Like, obviously, Chelsea are looking fucking good. I know yesterday means nothing because Norwich were crap, but
who?
Chelsea 7-0. Yesterday,
7, weren't they?
I know Norwich were crap, but you've still got to put 7 goals in the net. Like, and it's going to be. It's going to be mental, innit?
It's a mad season, isn't it? I'm just glad Liverpool are back to like strength.
That's right. It's good though, because you don't want Liverpool running away with it, or you don't want Man City running away with it.
Yeah.
You want it. It's going to be class, I reckon.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
the relegation scrap will be class, because Newcastle got money now.
Do you ever
Be
have a game
mad.
of football still then? Like, are you like, is in a contract you're not allowed to play football anymore and stuff?
I don't play in summer. I'd go and have a kick about five
Who's the
aside.
best footballer you played with?
Bradley Mace. No. We had a couple of good ones. Who was the best? When we were in school, we had Macaulay Southam, who who's he playing?
In your class.
Yeah. Because he's moved on now and he's playing. I got him. I'll get back to who he's playing for.
Macaulay kid.
He's playing professionally now, and yeah,
he?
Yeah, I can't remember who he's playing for, but
Who was the best football coach you ever played with?
Peter Mace. Like, they gotta get a sponsorship deal out of this. Yeah. No, but like in all seriousness, like when I used to play football, like for Fairwater and Peter be the coach, it was just class, because like you just turn up and like it was we and mates on it, and it was just, we had an unbelievable team. We would just poach anyone who was any good. Come and play. We just come and play for Fairwater, and
I can imagine your dad selling it as well.
They were a
He's
good
the
team.
dream.
They were a good team. They were.
we did have a decent side, didn't we?
Yeah, they were sick. They won everything.
Yeah. So
Sheedy had Gareth Gates hairdo.
Yes.
You know, the little spike.
Thick.
You have to get us a photo to put it up on you.
gel and hairspray, like you couldn't move it. Oh, unbelievable! Yeah, but no,
You'd have a field day with this being a barber and I. You know, what the fuck?
I used to love. No, in all seriousness, those days were so good.
What was some of your like? My brother said to say as well, like your touring days, kind of schools. And he said
Mental.
He said you played a bunch of Italians and got battered.
Yeah, well, we had some class tours over the years. Like we went to Italy that one, and literally we must have been playing against 20-year-olds. We were all 14. Bradley was the only one who was like their size, because he was about 20 when we were all 14. Brad was massive, but we just got beat up out there. But we had the best time. Like we just got filled in every game. But it was class, because we were just loving each other's company. Like it was just because like we had boys like Brad, Lewis Kirk, Dan Owen, boys who were just like proper like nuts, like good crack, like just would just go and do like the stupidest thing just to make the boys laugh, and it was just like unreal. Like we spent 2 weeks in Canada, like Cardiff schools
you
tour.
went Vancouver, didn't you?
Vancouver, yeah, Whistler we went to.
Yeah, did you do like because I remember like my brother, like they stayed over Ireland. They, the
Terranure, yeah.
Did you do that?
Yeah, we done a Terranure where we went and stayed with one of their families. And
I think everyone in Cardiff schools does that, the Irish one, don't they?
And then they come over and stay with us. And listen, like all those things when you're growing up, like their experiences, which are just class. And still like those days, like I said, the Canada tour was one of the best. It's just brilliant, like because you just want to be your best mates, didn't you? Like it's like, your parents are paying for it, so you don't care about like money and all that. Let them go in debt for that. But no, it's just
Harry. What's his name? Was Harry from Penarth?
Harry Roberts.
Legend.
He's legend.
We had Biggie Morris on the podcast. Andrew Biggie Morris. Yeah. He rang me. He was like, Cullen, I'm at the fucking stag do tomorrow. He said his name's Harry. Do you want to come up? I found out the next day. Harry Roberts was rock bottoming Biggie through a table and all that. It's like a fake film for his stag do.
Harry Roberts. He was funny, man.
Class.
Yeah. No, we had a good bunch of boys. We did.
The Ox as well. Rest in peace to
sad man. Sad.
To the Ox.
He was a great guy, Ox. Yeah. Sad.
I wanted to say. I think they had like an anniversary for him, like about a week or two ago, didn't they? Yeah. So.
But it's just in obviously the mental health side of that. I think it's so sad to see like a young person like that have to feel like he takes his own life. So rest in peace, Ox, man. Yeah.
For people coming up now in rugby and people who want to make it in that, to have a career in that sort of thing, what sort of advice would you give to those people, coming up through colleges and stuff like that?
I think the biggest thing is like, don't try and think too far ahead. Don't think, I need to be a professional. I need to play for Wales. I need to do this. I think the biggest thing is you enjoy it. Like, if you enjoy it, you're always going to play better. You're always going to want to train. You're always going to want to do your extra work. If you're doing things just because you want to be a professional rugby player, you're going to get bored. You're going to hate it. You're going to go off the rails by 20. So, like, if you're 16, 17 and you want to be a professional rugby player, just make sure you're still enjoying it. Don't put that pressure on you that if I have a bad game, I'm not going to play for Wales. And just take each sort of game, enjoy it. And if you're meant to be a professional rugby player, work hard, give everything you can. If you're meant to be,
and it'll happen,
you will be. Because all you can be is your best version of yourself. And if that's not good enough, then at least you can, sleep at night knowing that
you tried your best.
I'm the best version of Cullen Mace. You know what I mean? Like, so that's all you can do.
What does the future hold for Callum Sheedy then?
Like I said earlier, in terms of trying not to look too far ahead, like it's the job we do in terms of professional sport is such a week to week basis that, like you said, you could go from being the best player in the world one week to the worst player in the world the next week to the best. And it's just like...
And the injuries as well.
Injuries,
you never know when.
Form, injuries, form, selection. Like,
have you got anything in place, you know, something in your mind you might do, or would you go into coaching maybe?
I coach a team called True Valley, who were in they'd be one below the All National 3, so they're at a decent standard. It's where I live, and you know, I really enjoy coaching.
You're learning already the coaching whilst you're playing.
So I got my level 2. I got my level 2 badges. I'm looking to do my level 3 now. Coaching is definitely something I'd look at doing because I do feel like I'm a bit of a student of the game, and I do enjoy learning, and I enjoy teaching. Like, there's nothing more satisfying for me is when I coach the boys on a Tuesday and Thursday, and then on a Saturday they go and perform something.
Yeah.
It's a real. Class. I always get more pride out of that than playing.
Seeing them flourish is like,
yeah. So it's nice, and it's definitely something I'd look to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I got some questions here. A couple of what you rathers, a couple of names. Maybe you can tell us what you think of them. I'll start with the what you rathers. So, growing up, then number 10s. Well, not even growing up because these are before our time. Who do you think was a better number 10, Barry John or Jonathan Davis?
Now that's a tough one because I would have liked to have watched them like every week. Do you know what I mean? To see like everyone knows Barry John's.
There's only a limited amount of footage.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We only see like the unbelievable tries. Like
you hear like our grandpies, he was a great
Barry
player.
John. Right? I mean, I would have seen more of Jonathan Davis because, like I said, I remember watching like rugby league and all that. Like
class. And
for me, being able to go from union to league and still be...
That's a point. Would you have ever played league?
I love league. Like, I love that NRL. Like, I'm obsessed with it. I mean, I'd never say never. Like, I'd love to... Whether I'd be any good... I don't know if I'd be any good first, but I mean, I love rugby league, so why not?
Listen,
I mean, I prefer
anything
to go
you pick up, you're pretty good at. I'm pretty sure you'll be alright.
I prefer to go to Australia and play the NRL, though. That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Than British, yeah.
Yeah, I'll see if Semi Randrandra used to play NRL, our centre, so I'll see if he can...
Put a word in.
Towards the twilight of my career.
So you'd say Jonathan Davis?
I think so, just because I've seen more, yeah.
Okay. Would you rather have a long average playing career or have a short, fantastic career cut short by an injury?
Ooh, that's a good question. Now, I mean, obviously you want to achieve what you can, which favours the short, successful one. But then you think of like longevity for your family, for your kids, stretching it over, earning a reasonable amount of money over 15 years.
Yeah.
I guess I play rugby for my family and I prefer a longer one.
Security and stuff.
Yeah, we go long.
And when you talk about family, do you have a partner?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, we live in True Valley, so...
Looking to get settle down,
yeah,
kids?
Yeah, no kids yet.
Would you want a kid?
She's probably watching, so don't get a brood.
A couple of mini Sheedies for it running around.
Not quite yet.
Yeah, no, I mean... Listen,
longevity in it.
Yeah, I think looking after the family, yeah, that's nice. The big
thing. Okay. Would you rather meet your childhood sports idol today or play your sports idol in his prime?
Ooh.
So he could be dead.
That's a good question. You know? Yeah, that's a good question. Play him. Just, do you know what I mean? Just to see what they can do, because obviously...
No, of course, yeah. You want to be on the same pitch. You want to like sails on the same pitch.
Yeah.
There's no point meeting him if he's in a wheelchair.
That's what I mean. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Back in the day, I'd done this. No, I want to see it.
Yeah. No, of course. Okay, then. Rugby or football? What do you really prefer to play?
I mean...
That's a hard question, though.
Like, rugby's like my life. When I'm away from work, football. I love football. I could sit there and watch football all day. Whereas like when you're watching rugby all day, it's kind of like watching work.
Yeah.
It's like
kind of wanting to get away from that. A lot of people say that, don't they? A lot of sportsmen say that in whatever sport they play.
Yeah, like
they're sick and tired of it. It's like
it's literally every day, 7:30 till 5 is rugby.
If you work in Domino's Pizza.
The last thing you want is a pizza.
Yeah, no, but if you work in Domino's Pizza, then you chill in Domino's Pizza on your days off.
And you're a bit of a weird guy.
Yeah. It's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
Current Leeds United or that 2000 to 2001 team?
2001.
It's a no-brainer.
But I'd love to see them.
Pick some out.
Yeah, and I'd love to be like my age now watching them, because I was only young and I still remember...
Appreciate it more now.
I reckon I'd appreciate it more. Yeah. If football was still what it was and those boys were there now and I was 25 there, I'd love to watch. And I'd follow them around the country, and I'd probably retire and just follow them boys because it was class.
Yeah. Play for Ireland or play for England? No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Yeah, no. If you could explore one of these, would it be deep sea or deep space?
Oh God. Space, because I'm a bit weird in water. A bit scared of it.
Okay. Are you a flat earther or a round earther?
I hate that question.
What does that even mean?
You
He
love
hates
that
it.
one.
You cringe. You
What does it
cringe
mean?
off it. You do, don't you?
What does it mean?
Okay, so
So there's people who there's a conspiracy.
there's people
out
like
here.
Callum.
Am I going to upset people? I'm going to upset people whatever answer.
No,
am
no, 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 no,
no.
There's people who think that we live on a flat earth. It's ridiculous, I know, but
I? No, it's round, isn't it?
you tell me. Do you think it's flat or round?
I've never thought about it, but I've seen the things that spin round. They're like the good,
The globes.
yeah.
So you didn't even know if we lived on a round earth before?
I've never thought about it.
Okay,
We
fair
do,
enough.
don't we?
I'm so glad you're
What's
a
the
good
answer?
sportsman.
What's the answer?
What they
What
say?
do you think?
Oh,
Well,
he's a
they,
donut.
well, they
I'm flipping on you.
say
Next.
they say we live on a round earth, don't they? So
So what do you think?
I don't know. I'm like
Yeah, but I'm asking you now, so you've got to give me an answer.
I'm just got,
Well, if you get a 2 pence piece.
Milder.
Milder.
With a little kick.
yeah, milder.
Yeah.
No one's ever said that before.
I can't go too spicy.
Yeah.
If you
What
if,
about Nando's then? So if you're in Nando's, what would you have?
Peri Tamer.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
What spice though?
It's barbecue Peri Tamer.
Is it?
Yeah.
What's that? I've never heard of that
It's
before.
just like a barbecue
it's
sauce.
the peri peri being tamed,
Okay,
yeah,
by the sounds of it.
Yeah, have it next time. It's nice.
Okay, I will. Yeah,
Nice.
no, I will.
If you could have 2 superpowers, one for yourself, one for humanity, what would they be?
I'd like to be able to click my fingers and just be where I was thinking. And then for humanity, I'd like a time machine. To be able to go back in time. Anyone can just go back to whatever era they want to be.
Wow, yeah. And for someone else, did you say for someone else as well?
Yeah, you've done
That's
it.
it. Because
Sorry.
I hear so many people say, oh, I was born in the wrong era, or born in
Yeah.
the wrong decade.
Yeah.
Well, if
yeah.
you want to go, just go back.
Where
Yeah.
would you go back?
I wouldn't. I'd stay.
Happy days.
I think I'm all right.
Well, you wouldn't go back to that Leeds team.
No, they can come to me.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I could. Yeah. Actually, yeah, life's probably better then.
All right. And these are just, I'm going to name some names in the Welsh squad now. You let me know what you think. This is past for Shane Williams.
Ledge. I actually met him after the England game at Parc y Scarlets, and he was a proper legend. Like, had really nice things to say, and obviously as a player, I used to love watching him. Like, just to show you can be not the biggest guy
Yeah.
and still be amazing was legend.
Scott Quinnell.
Ledge. I was saying when I used to watch the School of Hard Knocks, man. Do you know that inspirational when he's like firing the boys up, like
Yeah.
Over the line.
In the changing
I'd be at my
rooms.
telly and I'd be like, go on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never met him. I'd like to meet him. He seems like a great character.
Brian O'Driscoll.
Again, I've never met him, but growing up was someone I just loved. Loved him, and you know, I really like listening to his punditry. There's a lot of BT Sport now, and someone who just knows the game inside out, and you know, his brain is just ridiculous.
Jared Evans.
Top boy. I would have grown up obviously with your brother as well. Jared was my age, and we'd always play against Pontyclean and Pontypridd, and that's what we played for. So I had loads of draws with him over the years. But the thing I like about Jared is that we'd always have competition on the pitch, and then when it's off, get on really well. Was in camp with him in the summer. Great lad, and real good player. Someone I like watching.
Nice. Dan Bigger.
Legend, like I said earlier, someone who's older than you in the camp sort of thing, but treats you like a human. He's not looking at me thinking, well, I'm above you in the pecking order, so go. He's great lad. Off the pitch, on the pitch, he's someone I look up to in terms of the way he's competitive. Like I said, his work ethic, and off the pitch, the way he can switch off and be one of the lads is, top boy.
Josh Navidi.
Oh, he's class. Navici. I think the Lions boys said they were calling him, because he DJs as well, see?
Oh, so he thinks he's Avicii.
Yeah. No,
Rest,
so they call
rest
him,
in peace.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, but they call him Navici.
Apparently that's what the Lions boys were calling him, but...
Oh god.
Is that why you got them dreads, like, just to give him
I
that,
think
like,
it's just a bit, out there, isn't he?
hip, like?
He's a great lad, and
He is someone you'd imagine you'd see, like, on a beach, like, with Quicksilver t-shirts on and a fucking
he's someone
surfboard.
he's someone you could just sit there, have a coffee with, and just chat shit for an hour, and just be like, he's just easy. Rugby player, monster. Like,
He is a beast, isn't he?
Monster. Like, just the way he hits is just horrible. Like, when he hits you, you're staying hit. He's got shoulders like, honestly, like concrete. Like,
That's mad.
yeah, he's a good lad.
Sam Warburton?
Again, never met him, but only ever heard brilliant things spoke about him. Like the boys in camp say, I guess similar to Alan Wynne in terms of the competitiveness and the drive. I guess to be captain of your country, you've got to have that sort of drive. And I think the way he dedicated his whole life to Welsh rugby and to Cardiff Blues rugby is special. And I think he's one, a very unique player, like one that doesn't come around very often. To sort of dedicate your whole life to that is, very special.
George North?
Ledge. He's so funny, man. Like,
is he?
Yeah, he's like living his teenage years. Like he's just a teenager. He's just a big teenager. Like
really?
He's always just being stupid and having a laugh. But again, someone who, when he's on the pitch, he knows how to flick that switch.
Is there anyone else similar to him like that in the camp?
Sanjay, Liam Williams is very similar. Like Liam Williams is a nutter, right? He is an absolute nutter, legend. Like I find him so funny. Like off the pitch, he's just a kid. Like he is honestly just like a 16-year-old kid. But then when you go on the pitch, you step foot over that white line, he is on it. And for that 40-minute session or that hour session, he's on it. Full-time whistle goes, he's a kid again. And I think being able to
switch like that's good.
Keep yourself sane, don't you? If you just was like that the whole time, you'd be nuts. So them two bounce off each other quite well. They're good crack, yeah.
Warren Gatland?
Again, I've met him once. Seems like a nice guy. Obviously done great stuff in terms of his CV would be brilliant in terms of like 3 Lions tours or wherever, won, lost 1, drawn 1, whatever. Yeah, great coach, and I know the boys speak highly of him. So I don't know him personally, but someone I fully respect in terms of his coaching career.
And finally, Pivac.
Well, again, someone who has given me a chance and someone who's kind of backed me. And as a player, you just want a coach that's going to back you. And, to pick me in now 3 camps, this will be my 4th camp he's picked me in. I obviously owe him a lot, and I wouldn't be an international for one for him. So, yeah, he's, he likes to have a laugh as well. He likes to have a bit of fun. We'll always have a beer after a game. And
he likes to swish. Yeah,
he does. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the beauty of it, though, because it's easy when you're in a professional environment, when you're in an international environment, to get bogged down with the whole results and stressful, is this, is that, what's everyone going to think? Whereas what he's great at is after full-time whistle, what's done is done. We can't change that. That's done. So we'll all have a beer together and we'll all chat shit for 15 minutes. I think that's key, because in some teams I've been in the past, the full-time whistle goes and it's all like, what am I going to do?
Should have done this.
I should have done that. What's he going to think? Oh, why did you do this? It's like, nah, none of that. That's bullshit. We won't go rugby for 15 minutes. We'll have a beer together. I think that's key.
Chill out, yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
Is there anything you would like to say to the people watching? Any young people out there trying to get into sports? Maybe they fall out of sports. Anything inspiring you can say to the people watching the Central Club?
I think the biggest thing is, like I said to Tom, just enjoy it. There's no pressure on anyone to become a professional rugby player. There's no professional footballer, boxer. There's no pressure on anyone. You do whatever you want to enjoy. Test your hand at as many things as you can. Especially if you're young, coordination, play football, rugby, baseball, play everything, and just see what you enjoy, and then just go for it. And if sport's meant to be, it's meant to be. If not, give whatever you're doing 100%. Education, sport, whatever. Just go for it.
Sick. Good.
You're going to get up to the next Lions team?
We'll see. Don't look too far ahead, Cole. Come on. Day by day.
Sick.
On that note, listen, Callum, it's been a fucking pleasure, mate.
Sick.
Honestly, it's been really nice seeing you after all these years.
Legend.
Wish you all the best. And maybe
congratulations.
We'll get you down
Honestly,
another
you've
time.
done such amazing things. So,
Thanks,
yo, thank you, man. Pleasure. Thank you, bro.
I want to thank everyone for watching. Make sure you keep an eye on old Callum Sheedy.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next week. Stay central.
Thank you.
The Central Club.